My black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white, yeah, it's black and white, we're just black and white, it's my black and white, it's my black and white scarf.
Hello, and you're very welcome to the Town End Podcast. It's season 5, episode 5. Well, just when you think Dundalk have got this, add another goal and take a lead and win a game, it comes back to bite us in quite a big style. We throw away a 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 with Treaty Utd. Someone who also was there tonight in Oriel Park was Gally. Gally, how are you?
Delighted to get back to Oriel Park. It's the first game I got to this season, but with the result and you're leading the way we were, it almost feels like a defeat. I know, look, we're early doors in the season, and
it felt like that deflated leaving, didn't it?
You don't want to be busting out too many cheesy lines before we get really stuck into the season. But you kind of came away, look, a 2-2 draw. Look, it's not the end of the world. Treaty are right up there as well. I know, albeit early doors, but yeah, like James McInerney says, that's the word. It's deflated. You're 2-0 up. You're a much better team in the first half in particular. I thought we were excellent. But yeah, it feels like a defeat. It's not, but it does. You do have that kind of coming on to the show going, like so many talking points, so many kind of almost negative stuff, which there really shouldn't be. There really shouldn't be considering the first half. I thought we played the best football we played all season in the first half. I thought we were excellent. But into the second half, Treaty definitely a bit more physical with us, Martin. Exactly, it's they seem to boss around after an hour, which would be a bit right. Subs started to come on as well, which you don't put Wardy substitute down to fatigue. We don't know if it's a booking or fatigue, but yeah, I definitely see that point as well. Well, maybe they were kind of burnt out in the first half. I don't know, but we bossed the first half. I mean, first half
completely,
unbelievable. Some of the play. Owen Kenny, although he's lost the ball once or twice, an absolute athlete. Like, he's an absolute specimen. Like, to be up and down the sideline for someone who's meant to be a centre forward, I thought he was excellent. But yeah, like Martin says, maybe it's a fitness thing. It's early doors in the season. Might take them maybe get to double figures of matches to get really sharp. But I mean, you shouldn't really be. I mean, you've been relegated from the Premier Division. You got to be ready to go. But yeah, look, it's deflated. That's probably the best word to put it.
Coming into the game, we knew with Leo Gax's suspension, there was going to be changes tonight. I don't think anyone was expecting that Enda Minogue wouldn't be in goal. We find out now that he has a fracture in his hand that happened during the Kerry match, apparently. When you think of the heroics he had at the end of that match, it kind of puts it on maybe a higher pedestal. But Conor O'Keefe also out, and obviously Mayowa limped off during that match as well. So you're kind of looking at a very, very young back line. As long as if you take out Peter Cherry's age and that, he brings it way back up again. But you're talking 16, 17-year-olds for the majority of it, which is wild to think like.
Yeah, and although they're very good 16, 17-year-olds, Leonard has been a revelation. You do want that experience, in particular Conor O'Keefe. A lot of people talk about the goalkeeping issue, but Conor O'Keefe's one of the most experienced players in the league, Premier Division or First Division. And then because he's out, you've obviously got Abe Devlin coming in from midfield to play fullback, which he can do. But then you find it later in the game, he's gone after playing fullback up and down the wing, they put it back into midfield. So that's even a fitness thing again, because to go from fullback to the centre of the park is difficult. No, look, he done fantastically well, but yeah, it's a bit disjointed. Paraship as well started in the middle of the park. I thought he was sensational. I thought he was really good in the first half. And whether he has 90 minutes at such a young age yet, we don't know. But yeah, so some changes. Yeah, Conor O'Keefe for me, in hindsight now, you're missing that little bit of experience. You've got McHale, who we haven't seen a massive amount of either. But yeah, look, it's even with the changes, I had it all. At 2-0 up, we were almost.
You counted chickens.
Yeah, we were almost going to. I was almost going to repeat what we said last week. The defensive line, that block, that kind of. They had McHale, Leonard, they had Harry Groom and Paraship in front of them. It was almost like just that little block of defensive that nothing was happening. The ball wasn't dropping between the four. Yeah. They had it all sorted, and then later on in the game, as you get into it, all kind of just gets snatched from under you. But again, up until then, it was not a masterclass, but we've been rock solid at the back. You know, we've been excellent, very hard to penetrate, very robust, as we keep saying. And it was that way up until probably, like Martin had said, probably 60, 65 minutes. And then you've seen a little bit of more physicality coming in from the striker, which name from Treaty, I'm not even going to attempt. Number 99, I'm not going to attempt to say his name. But yeah, it's frustrating. But you know, the lads are really, the first half in particular, if we were even talking about that, it probably was just sensation. Like, Arsenal's intricate play with Ward. It was great to see Wardy starting the match. Darryl Hogan, Ward, Dean Ebby up front.
Dean Ebby, he's really good link, isn't he?
It's hard to believe he's never played, not never, but nobody from the Premier Division has gone in and looked at him. You know, he was unbelievable. His pace, he's got a ton of pace that you don't expect. And I thought he was excellent as well. I know man of the match, a lot of people are talking. I thought Dean Ebby had a great game. But yeah, really strong first half again. But like if I want to get really into it, the ref, like the free kick for our goal is not a free kick. The free kick for their equaliser is not a free kick. He's given yellow cards. I think he's given free kicks. It became a pattern. He was given free kicks for free kicks he didn't give 2 minutes ago. Yeah. And then the ones he was given free kicks for weren't free kicks. And that seemed to be a thing going on. I never see the ref. It was the first time we've gone to Oriel Park and I didn't recognise the ref. I know we're first division, but there's
I think last week might have been one of his first weeks or something. No.
It definitely looks like it. Definitely showed, because I thought, look, he kept up with play well. There was one or two, he let some margin and things go, but there was free kicks given tonight that were never free kicks. Even if we go right forward to the 95th minute, Treaty got a throw in the corner at 2-1 and he blew the whistle for full time.
Yeah,
now, it was but even that's crazy. That's such an inexperience. You know, to do that and not give them the throw is mental, is absolutely crazy. But you know, look at the end, the ref aside, they're 2-0 up in the game, and it is a top. No matter how half a dozen games into the league, it's a top of the table clash. You're 2-0 up. I hate the word cruising, but we were comfortable, and then we're talking about the goals. Look, it's a free kick there, but I thought that we took our goals brilliant. I thought, if that was going to be our next question, Chris.
Well, like we might as well get to it. It's a long free kick in from Dervin, pretty much on the halfway line, kind of looped in. 4 of their defenders kind of go for the ball. None of our attackers did. We all kind of stood off and waited for the second ball. And then when the second ball landed, it's recycled back in there. And you think their keeper is going to come out and collect this, or one of their defenders. And somehow Dean Ebbe kind of rises like a salmon in between both of them.
Yeah,
and gets there first.
The keeper almost came out. Look, I don't know how tall the keeper is, but even he didn't even look like he was ever going to get it. It just seemed to be, I won't say no man's land, because he's obviously going to come out at 6 yards out, but he just seemed to be, like, Dean Ebbe just seemed to hang in the air, and the ball just almost was sucked to his head. It was just, the keeper was never getting it. I mean, we talk about keeper, it's a game of keepers tonight, we get into it later on, but even for that goal, the Treaty keeper would be disappointed. He stepped in and got absolutely nowhere near it. But it's a great, like you say, great ball in. I don't know who's laid out. Is it Hogan that's put on the header?
I think so. I think Hogan recycled it back in again.
Yeah, recycled it back in. It's a pinpoint header. It's a great finish. A typical kind of centre forwards goal. And from then you're kind of thinking, we get on here, we get 2 or 3. I was talking to Jerry Curtis at half time. We should have a 2. We're talking, should have 2 or 3 goals at half time. We should have 2 or 3 up. Owen Kenny's had chances. A confident Owen Kenny in front of the goal probably puts his header away. It just kind of seems to. I haven't seen the replay of it, but if he almost doesn't throw his head at it, it probably just hits his head and goes in. He's almost tried to just almost place it, and it's scuffed off a little bit. But it's nothing we didn't deserve. I thought we were excellent in the first half, and well earned the 1-0, and the second goal came later, but well above anybody in the first half that we've been against all season. We even the best half of football we played all year.
Yeah, just on Kenny's 2 chances, I think there was the other one. I think Horgan kind of curled it in, or Wardy curled it in at the back post for him as well. You looking from the kind of wrap his boot around it. It goes over, and like I say, his header then as well. Two very good chances. But you're going in, you've got a lead at half time. It looks like everything is cruising. We've kind of forced into maybe one or two changes. Wardy and that, like I say, probably just ran as much as he could have. But Dervin steps up for a free kick. It goes all the way through. It looks like McHugh kind of runs across, or McHale runs across in front of it. It didn't look like anyone was going to claim it. Mickey Duffy certainly didn't know who to give it to in the stand anyway.
Everyone was not happy. But it's one of them that's the type of it's a bounce of a ball and a free kick the keeper hates.
Absolutely.
Like he couldn't have dropped it anyway. Now whether that's a plan thing, I don't know. It looked like it was. It's an absolute nightmare for a goalkeeper, as you would know, Chris.
Yes,
being history they are. But it's
just having nightmares, is it?
It's the worst spot, especially when it's coming straight at you, because you don't know if you come out too early. You're in on top of someone, you're giving away a penalty. You might get the ball, but you probably give away a penalty. Nobody's tracked McHale either. So if McHale gets any touch, it's in anyway.
Yeah. But the keeper can move because he sees McHale running across in front of him. So he thinks, well, if I go for this, if I go for as the ball's coming and McHale gets any sort of a touch on this, I'm going to look like a fool. So he waits, and then McHale kind of, whether he was getting to it or he's dummied it or whatever he's done, it's just there's no time for the keeper to react. Then as soon as it hits the surface, it kind of skids off and straight into the net. But I've never quite seen a moment where a player has a yell back up at Mickey Duffy to make sure he gets claimed for the goal.
Yeah, it was like that's maybe that's why he's vice captain. He takes no shit. But he wasn't having it. He knew, like, he just wasn't having it. Look, it's great to get. It's great to have players like that. We talked about him going from right back to midfield, but he's an excellent player, and he kind of, he's a football head. I know they're footballers, but he's just well up for every game. He's not giving anybody a goal, and why would he? But yeah, no, he's in a cracking game, and it's kind of capped off him for that as well.
There seems to be a great rant going on in the comments at the moment. One just about the referees and their standard, and I seen a comment in. I think Frank might have put it in earlier as well. He flags for an offside, and then they take the free kick inside our half, so you can't be offside in your own half. I don't know.
So I thought it was a free kick for a shove, and I was like, that's not a free kick. And then everybody's like, I didn't realize it was offside. I was like,
and I think he gets booked for that as well.
Yeah,
like
it's the craziest thing. Like a free kick given for offside, and then you can take it in the opponent's half. How does that, like? Yeah, that is grassroots stuff. Like that, like even that's not fair on grassroots referees. That's correct. It's criminal. I think there's actually a Kenny offside call later on as well. I don't think it was offside. I think the ref was looking across the box.
He had a right yell at the ref on that one as well. Yeah. And I wouldn't mind, but 2 seconds before that, I think he had a run on the ball. They must have tried to kick him about 4 or 5 times, and then Owen lost the ball, put in a challenge, and the ref blew up for a free kick against Owen after him being chopped at about 6 times on the way into it. Like it was just, like I say, it was comical at best. It's interesting because for the past few weeks, we've probably said defensively, solid, where our man of the match conversations have kind of all drifted in that. Yeah. Tonight, there was 2 players who stood out for me. We'll get into them a little bit later on. Both of them are in the middle of the park, and let's just say there's a fair whack of man of the match nominees suddenly coming in for those 2. One certain player wearing a number 8 jersey tonight, I thought he was exceptionally good. Probably as the game drifted on, kind of fell out a little bit, but I just thought he was brilliant. So it's just interesting that there seems to be, I'd say they're probably the 2 standout candidates right now for man of the match. So just keep them coming in, and we will come to it. The clock's ticking down, Gally. It looks like it's, we finally got that second goal, the one we've craved for the opening 3 games of the season. And you think we should be able to see this out. I didn't feel like we were under massive pressure at that stage. They'd made some substitutes to try to get back into it, and that seemed to have worked. Their long throw seemed to be an avenue that they were going to try to exploit as well. But their first goal, I mean, Pete's going to have nightmares about this one. Our good friend Tom O'Connor came down, and we had a good discussion in the goalkeepers union about this one. For both of us, we just felt that when Pete goes down to make the save, like it's like nearly his mind had turned to where he was going to distribute the ball straight away, and he hadn't fully completed the motion of saving the ball. And next minute, it comes out from his grasp, rolls out from underneath him, and it's in the back of the net. And right to that point, I don't know about yourself, but right to that point, I felt that the Treaty were getting nothing out of this game.
No.
There was a couple of lofted balls in there. Pete was coming through players, collecting balls, punching on the corners when he needed to. Looked very, very solid. But it was a bit like Treaty smelled blood in the water. Soon as that mistake went in, and then you realise how young our backline currently is, because we'd made a few changes. Luke Mulligan that had come in at that stage as well. So, we probably took a step back even younger. Sean Spade, I think, had come on at that stage as well. So that's the time when you really look on someone like Conor O'Keefe there to kind of step up and put a foot on it, and even Mayo in defence or something, just calm it down. But unfortunately, I felt that maybe the naivety in our defence, Pete probably disappointed in himself for that 5 minutes, and that it just kind of came back on us. How did you feel it?
Yeah, it's one of them shots. It's dipping just towards you, but it's still at a good angle that he's not comfortably, but he should be just able to just dive. Look, I'm not a goalkeeper, but it should be not bread and butter, but it should be the next best thing. And like, in fairness to Pete, apart from the catches, he had nothing to do. He hasn't played a lot of football, but at the same time, there'll be nobody on planet Earth as annoyed as him. He probably won't sleep, because like that'll haunt him. And obviously, we later on then with the other goal as well, it could have haunted him even quicker. But it's a dipping shot. But I mean, if we were to roll it back, that centre back, number 5, his name escapes me, he goes from the halfway line, goes past our midfield, 1-2 with one of their players. I think it was in between. I don't know if it was in between Delvin and Groom. I don't know who they pass. And he's able to get a shot off between a CDM and 2 centre backs. And like you say, they're not getting through us, so they're going to have to go round us or over us. And that's what he's done. He's gone over us because he doesn't fancy another pass. He probably hasn't the legs for another pass. They're trying to get in on long balls, and that's why he's taking a pot shot. He's probably half turned around thinking, the keeper probably has this. But he's gone too far for me anyway. Regardless, look, the mistake has happened. Cherry will own it. Kilduff, they'll chat about it. But to run that far as a centre back, and not unopposed, but create a little 1-2. I mean, like, it's almost a 1-2 between a 10 and a 9, not a 5 and an 8, whatever the other midfielder was. But that in itself, again, we talked naivety, that has to be sorted out. But I mean, it's probably the first time they've actually gone round our players the whole night.
Yeah,
it's the first time they've got a little bit of pass sequence to get up. Maybe we've been caught off guard with it. But I mean, it's a pot shot. It's just the right, it's just the right height to bounce. But the keeper should be mopping that up, no problem. And unfortunately, like you say, it's just spilled. I don't know if momentum has just trapped it under him and it's almost popped out. It almost looks from the replay that it's almost hit his own leg when he's getting up and it's gone in. But obviously, I see it from the other side. It just spills in, a little bit of pace that's on it, takes it under. But you got to be cleaning that up. You got to be. I mean, I made a comment in our group that not a lot to do for 85 minutes, but that's when the best goalkeepers stand up. Most of the goalkeepers can go for 80, 90 minutes and do nothing and pull off saves. And look, nobody more annoyed than Peter. The boys, Kilduff, Barnesy, Ken, Kieran, they'll be disappointed in it because like you say, up until then, like you're never comfortable, especially first division football. We said, well, we're going to be the team to beat. Everybody wants it, but you kind of thinking. I didn't think we'd score another one after the second one, but we were comfortable enough to see it a 2-0 win. And even when they scored, I never thought it could equalise. You're talking 86 minutes. Not on, there's no way. I would never thought they would have grabbed it up because they hadn't produced the whole night. Long shots. And then look, we talk about the second goal again. It's a corner kick. It's a set piece. And that's probably the only way they were going to break us down. Like you say, long throws, long shots. There wasn't really a lot of play that got them in mind. They've a nuisance of a centre forward. I think he's an absolute beast. But
the big Croatian.
They can't get the ball to him. He wasn't producing. And when he went wide looking for the ball, they had nobody in the middle. So they were never going to break us down as such, that defensive kind of four that we had and the 2 midfielders. But that little bit of, we probably haven't been hit with those long shots before, and look, it's one of those nights. You could almost see that, you could almost take it on the chin if they don't get the equaliser. Do you know that kind of way? So look, you're right off the mistake and you go again. But then we never really got going after the goal. So after Treaty scored, we kind of it's back to the wall here. Everybody kind of just go defensive. That almost played into their hands, and they kind of just pressured off the corner, and they're in then.
Yeah, I think like you say, when that one went in, they didn't look like they had to sniff the whole night. But I felt as soon as they had that, suddenly, like for all the first half and the majority of the second half, all our clearances were, were true and steady, knock it down the pitch or into the feet of another player. Yeah. But in those last 5 minutes, we looked at a touch desperate. It was just a swing and hope. Plenty of them were just going up into the air, getting no distance. Yeah. We were putting them out for throws, and we should have realised we got to think about when we're putting them out for throws, because that is their secret weapon. They want to just load the box with players and put this back in again. We need to be angling. And I think at that stage, Dean Ebbe had taken a fair whack. A lag came actually right down. It looked like from his hamstring all the way down.
Yeah, and it wasn't given.
Nothing given on that.
Pick against the ref, yeah.
Exactly. And he was kind of struggling to stay on the pitch to help us out. But I don't think we were able to find him that much after that. But I just felt that our defending kind of had a hint of desperation about it. And they understood that as well. Loaded the box whenever they could. And like I say, and that's exactly what happens for the equaliser. It's another long ball in. It's recycled back. Pete kind of gets caught, I feel. He drifts to the front post where the initial ball is, and then by the time the ball is knocked over to the back, he's not in a position to come out and get it. But because we've dropped so deep as well, it's very hard for him to be able to just come out like he was able to do from the corners and stuff, is kind of clear straight to the ball where it is. It's, we've just sunk back onto our own line, which is something that we were under pressure in both Harps and Kerry, and we seem to come through that. Towards this time, I just felt we sunk a little too deep, and that kind of came back to bite us. Then it's really, really unfortunate. Like, it's hard to believe we're still talking. We're top of the league here.
I know. That's what kind of made at the start of the show. It's, look, a 2-2 draw. Do you know? It was more. The most thing I was excited about was to see more than one goal. It's great to go to a game and see, the 4 goals in the match. Great. There's 2,500 people at the game. It's great. You haven't got the win, but it is early doors. I mean, look, we can put this down to, it's still a draw. But it's just such, like, if we were, if you're 2-0 up in a game of football and you're being peppered, and it's a 50-50 game and it's hell for leather. Yeah. But you gotta be with 6 minutes to go. And look, they learn the hard way, unfortunately. But that's football. The Kilduff's been on the end of these Ken Key, and all these Bonesy, all these boys have played at the highest level, and they know the crack. And you've Ronan Murray on the sideline as well. And these boys have played. They know how to pick these lads up, and there's lots of experience in the team. It's just, like you say, maybe a bit of naivety on the younger part of things, but that's what we're looking forward to. These boys have to learn the hard way, because that's what the first division is. We're not going to be. I doubt we're going to be going out in July and signing a rake of players to improve the squad. This is the squad for the season. Yeah. A young, hungry squad, some cracking players. I mean, Wrexham, Vinny Leonard, power shift for me. Like, he came on the first time I seen him. He played it on the left. His flow of a ball tonight, him and Groom tonight, were just that potential is there for the rest of the season. We're talking 5 games into the league, couple of games into the league. We're going to be the team to beat. There's no doubt in my mind. But that's a bit of a sucker punch tonight. But I mean, look, like you say, top of the league, we've literally been given out of it. We were relegated 4 months ago. We've literally been complaining about here on a Friday night. But it's disappointing. But again, when you make changes, unfortunately, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And obviously, Peter Cherry tonight just, he hasn't played. So I think somebody put up the 2002 competitive match. I think Steph put it up as well. But that's, it's a forced substitution as well.
Well, Pete played two of the Leinster Senior Cup matches as well. Both of them were 4-0 victories over Shamrock Rovers and Malahide United, and the last game before that was a 4-0 defeat by Shells in 2003. So every game P plays is got 4 goals in it. It's going to play against Bray, lads. Lump the money on. that's what I'm thinking now at this stage.
I'm just seeing comments about the yellow. Yeah, I think the yellow card for Treaty, I think, was to do
That was
with
at the
referee
end.
it was blowing up the whistle on the throw when they went absolutely apeshit.
Yeah, because then you're going to wind up another long throw. That's why.
Yeah. I like it's like as much as we're delighted, but like everybody thought that was crazy. I think if you're a football head, that shouldn't happen. You should be allowed the grace of the free kick. Oh, not free kick, the throw in at this stage. Like it's ridiculous stuff. But that's inexperience in our team, maybe an inexperience in the ref. But definitely you can't excuse the ref on when you're 2-0 up and you come away with 2-2. Albeit a good result on most days, but when you're 2-0 cruising, you got to take advantage of that.
Sometimes, apologies, I do forget to check on the Instagram questions and stuff coming in. I see one here from Magic Soap saying they rarely get to participate in the live show. They normally listen back when they're doing some work around the house, but they can't help but feel bitterly disappointed. It's a game they feel they should have won. You could argue that Peter Cherry was to blame, but as a defensive unit, and they thought we lost our nerve a little. Anyway, still supporting the team. Come on to town. So thanks for dropping in a comment. Apologies for everyone. I keep forgetting to go and check them. They don't automatically come up on our list, so I can't bring them up. But it's a fair assessment. Yeah, I think we did just kind of lose our nerve defensively. Something. I think that's something to do with a lack of experience, maybe, for some of these players playing in senior football as well. You don't often come up against it. 20-foot tall Croatian up front and a lad who can throw a ball across the Atlantic. So that's
I think he's the biggest centre forward I've ever seen.
He was having a chat with Leo Gaxa at the start, and I swear to God, he nearly broke his neck trying to go up and have a look.
Like Dean Nevy's not small. Owen Kenny, he's like Kilduff was a big man, but this guy looked absolutely huge. But look, he didn't produce much, but that's probably the way they play. But yeah, look, I like Norman Garbutt as well coming on. Like, even if we mentioned that on the side, that's you can see visibly distraught from coming off. You get a game for fans, Mark. Absolutely, you get a game
definitely would.
13 if he was playing.
most definitely would. I think the other disappointing thing that we probably haven't touched on is. One, we're 2-0 up. We're still creating chances. There's still bits and pieces there. I think that's is the hard thing to take is for 85 minutes. We bossed, we controlled it, we scored 2, we're doing well. You're probably thinking that as a team, because we've only ever scored 1 goal in each of our previous games, the 2-goal cushion should be enough. Like for the Bray match kind of seeking in now, like what's going to be Killer and Ken's mentality? Like do we go for the throat now and try to get 3 against teams, or with that defensive naivety, I suppose, that we have just due to lack of numbers in defence right now? Is that going to be a concern?
I wouldn't say they'd probably change. I don't think they change much. I mean, Kilduff comes from a Dundalk era where, Stephen Kenny was the manager, and he didn't change anything. Like if he had a bad game, everyone had the same week. He just, it was just rinse and repeat because they knew the way to beat them. Now this is a little bit different. It's only been 1-0. This is the first time he scored. Twice there been 4 games involved, but 4 goals. I don't see massive amount of change in the way they play. The 2 sitting midfielders for me were outstanding tonight, so I don't really see any point in changing that again. I think we have Bray's best player now and Harry Green playing for us. So I don't see much changes. I think, if you're even talking players coming in, Gaxa is it back? Gaxa 1 back a game?
No, he's 2-game ban.
2 games, so they're probably not looking at many. You could argue maybe starting another right back and giving Dave the run in the midfield, but I thought the 2 boys in the middle of the park. I suppose.
Did Ruby do anything coming on to kind of say? Because Wardy probably hasn't got the legs, and then you're probably moving up now to the wrong side, aren't you?
Yeah, I think a Ruby on the right for me. I'd rather see him coming in off the left. But there's definitely, he's that type of player that you bring on when you could bring him on when defenders are tired and you want them to be run at. But I'd like to see him from the start. I mean, whether there's room for that, I don't know. Owen Kenny tonight out on the right. Like he was outstanding for someone who I think you don't realize how quick he is until you actually watch him live. It's so difficult to see on the television, but his walk rate, like he's kind of got that. He's got that David McMillan, Robbie Benson combo where he can run and stride and be physical, and he just needs to top it off with goals. I wouldn't see the boys will change much for next week. I think it'll be the same as now. You might see one or two, positional changes. You don't want Ave, like I'd rather see Ave down in the middle of the park rather than right back. But I don't see many. I mean, you could argue maybe
if you're going to change either your right or left back, I suppose you're looking at kind of Mulligan and Spate could probably come in.
Yeah. I that's about it. I mean, maybe there's an argument for a Ruby, but against.
I think the sad thing for Ruby was, I think in pre-season when he picked up that knock, that probably set him back behind where we knew Dean Ebbe was going to be playing up front, and then suddenly we realised we could get something off Gaxa on the right and Owen on the left, and then he kind of fell down on the pecking order of that, because I think like we had conversations about pre-season kind of wondering, could it be a Ruby or Ebbe up front? He seems to have fallen in the pecking order with that kind of knockback that he got in pre-season. So perhaps he's not fully there either. Yeah,
and especially when you're looking from the bench and you've got Ebbe and Kenny just playing out of their skin, and like Wardy coming on tonight. Some of his touches were a bit too fancy. He got a bit of abuse. One or two were just a wee bit like catch a grip yourself. But like his first touch, his play, like him, Delvin, Groom was just like, I know somebody commented on Rolls Royce, not to go off topic, but he is just like we said here a couple of weeks ago. He plays like a Chris Forrester. Even if you go back, and I'm going really back here to Kenny's era, I remember we signed John Dillon. John Dillon was probably never got to the heights in League of Ireland that he probably should have. John Dillon was like serious footballer, but never really got stuck in. Wasn't a physical kind of, not a tackler type of player. Kind of like Alan Cawley when he was at Oriel Park, but didn't have that Stephen Maher kind of vibe about him. But Harry Groom has it.
That was a lot of names dropped in one sentence.
Well, there was a balance. So I was worried when Parrish and Groom played together. I thought this is very, for two deep laying midfield, this is very similar. So I didn't wear the tackle, but Groom has the package. Like, the worry is if we don't go up, he won't be with us. You know what I mean? That's a player that's going to go Premier Division football. He's exceptional. But go back to your Ruby thing. Unless there's an injury, I think he's going to struggle. Unless they want to make a complete, real bizarre change, I think he might struggle to get into that team. But yeah, like you say, it's just a bit of hard knocks. Like Norman as well. There's an argument maybe if he
I was just going to come to talk about Norman Garbage.
So unlucky. And really impressed. The tackle that brought him down from the left back. Look, he was pacey, he's quick, he wants to go out. You can see he wants to play. If he got a good 30 minutes in it tonight, you're looking at him as well. But unfortunately, just the injuries just don't seem to.
And it's unfortunate he's coming back from a hamstring injury, and it looked like it was the hamstring again for him too. Like, and that's
and like as soon as he hit the ground, like he thumped the Astro and everything. He knew, like, it's just the physio didn't even look at him. He just said, "Look, up you get, going to come off," and it's just such a pity. Now it's happening early. So it's not, he has plenty of time, but it's just whether he can get that fitness and get the mental bit of it back that he wants to come back. You could be afraid, like he's just overstretched. You can almost, you might be afraid to get into a tackle, and that's always a worry with players who have these persistent injuries. But it's a pity for him, because another player going forward on the left or right could really be a handful for everybody. But
he's the pace that would bother a lot of people as well. Like, it's exactly what you'd want.
Because we didn't see a lot of him last year. We didn't get to see a lot of him. He's bit pieces, and you want a bit more from obviously coming back, like you say, from an injury. And I thought really, this year could be the year. But again, hamstring could be a couple of weeks. It's not the end of the world. It's early in the season, so hopefully touch wood, he doesn't get another one. But I think when he's back to fitness and running, he's another player that we have to come off the bench and just rattle defenders, hopefully.
Should we start having a look at this player in the match situation?
This won't be easy, hey?
No, well, to be fair, I'd say there's probably 3 outstanding, maybe 4 outstanding candidates on this. There's a fair few in for Vinnie Leonard again, who I thought had another exceptionally good game once again. Dervin, Sean Keogh, Kenny, And then comes the Harry Groom show. Harry Groom, Dervin, Harry Groom. So we're definitely in the realms. For me, Nick, you've touched on it already, but I thought from in particular at the start, like I just thought that was probably Harry Groom's best performance. It's what we want to see from him. We discussed probably after the round of the preseason matches that it just looked like he was going to be the real driving force in moving this team. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's like a young Robbie Benson kind of. The ball gets stuck to the feet and he can take off with it. Great range of passing again. Like you say,
but
there's definitely levels.
He always looks like he's in acres of space.
Yeah,
it's just so comfortable on the ball. So comfortable.
For me, I definitely go with Harry Groom. Yourself?
I was torn. I'm torn between the two. I would slightly lean towards Harry Groom on this one. If they haven't to go in to play fullback, normally it's the other way around. You play midfield and then there's something happens and you have to go into fullback. But to go play fullback, up and down, get a goal and into midfield then, it's rare you see it. But he's just been pimped. Harry Groom, I couldn't believe the space. It's not even that he had space. He made it look like he had space. He didn't have it because they were all over him. But he's sensational, a sensational footballer. And when we signed him, I'd only heard kind of bits because we weren't paying a lot of attention to the first division last year, obviously, because we're dog ignorant and we're up playing Premier Division football for the last decade.
To be fair, I see no fair whack at Harry Groom.
Well, of course, you're a different specimen than I am. But everybody was talking about it. It was like when we say the Kiki, everybody seemed to be talking about this player. Look, real good sign from Dundalk. So thinking, all right, okay, looked a bit slight, kind of pre-season, looked a wee bit, but he's like the worry is if you ever have to touch one, if you ever have to leave him out. He's an excellent footballer. Him and Parrish is really good tonight.
I'm surprised Parrish didn't come in with a few as well.
Yeah, I thought he might have. I think played a wee bit, another 10 minutes, maybe probably would have been in for a slice of pizza. I thought Ward as well again, but it would have been between David. Kenny ran himself. The only thing that Kenny let himself down, he a couple of passes astray and trying to get it back, and then maybe not getting himself close enough to being on the score sheet. Now, I know he's playing it right, but he's had one or two chances in the box and he's kind of scuffed. But Groom, look, apart from, I don't know if it was him. I had to see the replay, but if the defender from Treaty's gone past him first, it's a 1-2. He can't really do a lot with the second pass. But yeah, Groom, I think it's going to be a mad old game when he doesn't start. For me, I'd have to agree on that. Right,
we'll go with Harry Groom. I'll just
how do you pick one? I've no idea.
I don't like there's loads of people. I haven't got a well. You're into that many seasons now. After 5 seasons, surely everyone has had a shot. I tell you what, just kind of. James, to be fair to you, you picked nearly everybody at one stage there. Keogh, Parrish, Horgan, but then he did go for all in on it and went Harry Groom for me. An absolute joy to watch, spraying the ball around calm as you like. So I'm happy to give it to James McEnany. Congratulations, James. There is a pizza on us in Tony's Pizzeria. Go in, give Vinny a shout, tell him it's on us. Great chat with him there only a couple of days ago. So still delighted to be partnering with us. So fair play to him. We're looking at Bray next week, Gally. This is going to be the first game, it looks like, on this new surface as well. That probably evens out. Yeah. It probably evens out the game a little bit because they're not going to get a whole lot of chances to play on this game either. I'm sure they're doing a couple of behind closed doors games, training sessions on it as well to try to get used to it. But when you come to just another opposition or anything like that, it's a different kettle of fish on match day. So there's always that element to it as well. I mean, I think, did they draw tonight again?
It was a draw the last time I seen it. Don't quote me on it now. I will check, but I think it was, yeah.
So they're
sorry, no, they won.
Okay, they've won 1-0. It's been probably a little inconsistent for them this year as well. Harry Groom's going to be going back now with something to prove where he's won all. You also look at a big win for Cove tonight. against Longford as well. We kind of talked about Cove could be the ones up there challenging for the top spot in the division. Hopefully we'll be there for it as well. Are we starting to see maybe a touch of this kind of starting to form where we think we are, and that probably puts the pressure on us now at Bray with being in cruise control tonight and then throwing away 2 points?
Yeah, I mean, look, tonight's going to play in their mind for probably the next 2 or 3 games, and rightly so. The next time they go 2-0 up, but you got, like you said earlier on, you got to be looking at the boys. You got to be looking at, right, let's get 2-0, let's get 3-0, let's get 4-0, whatever it is. Look, you'll take 1-0, but now they know they can be paid back. But I think, like you said, the new pitch, you hope it's watered well. You hope it's, or a bit of rain on the way down the M50 there wouldn't go amiss. But it's going to be interesting. Like you say, it's a leveler. I mean, considering our AstroTurf's an old AstroTurf, the new AstroTurf might actually suit them really well. We've seen between that and Cove Ramblers in the country as well, and Kerry. It's Astro City in this first division, but Bray are looking forward to it as well. Like we keep saying every week, we're the team to beat, and we're still the team to beat after tonight. But I don't see the boys making too many changes. I think they'll be told, look, go at things, but get into the box more. For all the possession we had tonight, for all the time we had at the ball and the quality, we didn't put, apart from the goals, their keeper wasn't put under much pressure. And that's the difference. We have to go and put teams under pressure, press them. We have the speed, we have the fitness, albeit what Martin had said, for 60 minutes. But 60 minutes, if you can put teams to bed at half time or 60 minutes, that's all you need.
We were putting the teams to bed for 80 minutes and it still wasn't enough. 85 minutes.
But I think it'll be business as usual. I don't see many changes. I'd love to see the same lineup in midfield again, albeit I'm sure if the right back is positions up for grabs, again, David will slot in, but I've no problem putting him back. But again, Brian, we haven't seen him in a while, but Harry Groom, like you say, there's nothing to come back to your old club, especially when you're rocking it high at the top of the first division. Probably be backing for a goal. I'm not a betting man, but I'm not encouraging guys backing for a wee goal though. But that's probably I tell you, that's probably the only negative thing about him. He doesn't take shots. I don't know if that's a thing he done at Bray, but he doesn't seem to take a strike of a ball when it opens for him. He seems to go out wide with it, and that's fine. But if he gets a bit of space, take a chance. It's there for him, like Treaty found out tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, it's definitely something, and you feel we've this away match now, and then I think we've 2 at home. Then after you've got to be picking up something on the road. We found it now. We've had a small slip up. Cove already had a slip up as well. But you can't get away with too many of these, and I'm sure that's what Killer and Ken are probably reinforcing with the lads, that this feels like a defeat tonight. It wasn't, but it feels like a defeat. Let's not have this feeling again. So we've said it at the start of the season that everyone's going to be rolling up to Oriel Park and they'll want to beat Dundalk. We're coming down with the illustrious history and everything else, and even all our bulbs back in our lights tonight in Oriel Park was a nice little touch as well. But everyone wants to get our scalp as well, and that's the mentality that we have to remember as well. The teams are going to go right to the end to think they get something against us. If we give them the gift of the first goal like we done tonight, they'll go hammer and tongue after us, and that's last year when we done this, we were ready for the mistake. Let's face it, we were prepped and ready as a team, but we normally hadn't scored or couldn't score before it. So once we made that one mistake, we were done and dusted. Now we seem to be able to get ahead in games. So the important thing is, show that tonight is a blip, and I think that's what Kidder will probably be saying to the lads is, look, let this be a one-off. If we can get back to winning ways on Friday, no one will be talking about this draw again.
Exactly.
You'll be still sitting top of the table, and I think that's probably the important thing for it. Gary, we're kind of burning the midnight oil. I kept you late. We should probably wrap this up. Thanks everybody for all the comments. Actually, a real bumper night of comments tonight as well. I did see that last one there. Just a reminder, it is Sonia Hoy's 1 year anniversary as well. How quick time flies for it as well. So definitely thinking of Sonia and her family 1 year on as well. So it's mad to think. Right, will we wrap?
I think we will, Chris, and then we look forward to coming back with maybe 4 more goals next week, all in the back of praise net.
Exactly. We just want to thank our sponsors, as always, to Vinny and everyone in Tony's Pizzeria for their continued support with their Player of the Match competition. To Mark Harlan, who was all over our comments tonight, made us giggle, and a fair whack at those as well, to Mark and everyone up in the studio as well, and of course to Donald Green and Dundalk Village as our main sponsor as well. It's looking more and more likely we might have a little jersey coming this summer as well, so keep your eyes posted on that one. We'll get final designs and all of that, and we'll get it up in due course. Probably the ideal time for that is maybe during the summer break. I'm thinking right time to get a nice new t-shirt out.
People going on the holidays.
Exactly. It'll be one. It should be one to take on the Hollybops with you. That's for certain. Well, look, and in a night which feels like defeat, but it actually wasn't. Somehow we have to always remember that Dundalk are still top of this division and still with a chance to get ourselves back to the back into the Premier Division from top of the First Division. So until next time, come on to town.
My black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white, yeah, it's black and white, we're just black and white, it's my black and white, it's my black and white scarf.